Hi guys, it's me Faye here at Faye Desk, and I'm back with another video. In this video I'm going to be talking about how my hair is really annoying me. Right, okay, about spiritual slumps and how you can overcome them. The term spiritual slumps has been used a lot, or I've noticed in the sort of YouTube world. A lot of different pagan YouTubers have sort of come, I don't know who coined the term, I mean I've used it a lot as well. I've sort of talked about spiritual slumps, and so the first thing to talk about is what is a spiritual slump. A spiritual slump is basically like an everyday, like the same you sort of say like you have like a slump in life, like almost like it's like you're stuck in a rut. So you get stuck in a rut like in your spiritual practice. You may find that you don't feel motivated anymore to observe a Sabbath or do spells or rituals, or that you feel like your rituals aren't working the way they used to, or you just feel blah, like things before, like in your practice, that used to sort of excite you and motivate you and make you want to go out and be your witchy self, like you don't feel it anymore. So, and that's basically in an essence what a spiritual slump is. So I've gone through several spiritual slumps, as I'm sure you've seen on this channel. There has been times where I've had like a hiatus. I haven't been filming or uploading or interacting on my Facebook page or any of that, and it's been times before it's been because I just haven't had the motivation. I've just felt like blah, like I want to, but I also find it as a vicious circle as well. Like you want to be witchy, you want to practice and get back to sort of what makes you feel good spiritually, but then you don't feel motivated and you feel like stuck in a rut. So then because you haven't done it, you feel bad, and it just sort of self-perpetuates. It just carries on and on and on and on. And it can be hard. And spiritual slumps, they can, like being stuck in a rut in your mundane life, they can last a couple of days, I don't know, a couple of weeks, couple of months, couple of years. It just depends on how bad the slump is, I suppose, and how, I mean, and depends how do you sort of get out of it, like how do you know what I mean? Like I've personally found that I feel like that when you have a slump to a certain degree, you need to sort of ride it out. That makes sense. So you need to not put any more unnecessary pressure on yourself for not having celebrated the Sabbaths, or not feeling like, I don't know, decorating your book of shadows, or not feeling like doing X, Y, or Z. You need to not, I find the more that you put pressure on yourself, the more you're making the slump deepen and worse. So I feel like you need to ride it out. Like you need to sort of, like, say if you don't feel like observing a star or something, like it does suck, but you need to sort of be like, it's fine, like I'll listen to my body and what I need, and obviously like I'm not in the right headspace to observe the Sabbath, so it's fine. Like I'm not going to put pressure on myself or anything like that. I'm just going to go with it. And sometimes you can find that if you do just go with it, say you didn't do what you usually do on a Stara, you didn't have a big fantasy celebration, you just didn't observe, you just didn't bother with it, you may find that when the next Sabbath comes, you may find that after the star has been and gone for whatever reason, the wheel's changing, the energies are shifting, you may find that you're coming out of your slump, that you feel yes, like Beltane coming, like I feel ready again, I feel like to carry on, and that may be because you did listen to your body, you didn't put pressure on yourself, make yourself feel worse, you just went with it, and because you went with it, you feel better and it's fine, and like you got this, that sort of thing. So sometimes I've found myself in the past that has worked, just riding it out and just just going with your feelings and not trying to force anything and not put pressure on yourself. But also as well, I found at other times that depending on how deep a slump is, if a slump's deeper than you realize, that doesn't always work, and sometimes it makes you feel, sometimes it just carries on and you just feel really bad and you don't know how to get out of it. One of the other ways I found that really helps me to get out of a slump is to find things that motivate me, or to sort of like get my mojo back, sort of thing. Is that I try and sort of, just sound like I'm contradicting myself here, but sometimes I'll try and force myself to read one of my favorite witchy books for like half an hour or something, just sort of have like a skim through. And sometimes I find that just sort of getting back into it, sometimes it helps me. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I do really miss it, or I'm feeling motivated. Sometimes it will inspire me and I'll get an idea and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's like a really awesome idea, like I want to do this, I'm gonna do this now. Or so it's sometimes it's sort of trying to find things that motivate you and give you ideas of what to do, what you can do. So finding things in the spiritual world that motivate you, whether that's reading your favourite witchy book like me, or sometimes I love to light my favourite sort of scented candles that remind me of my path and my practice and my spirituality. Sometimes I love to do stuff like that. I also love to, sometimes I'll sit in my altar for like 5 minutes and just sort of look at everything, and just sort of, sometimes it helps to just sort of be surrounded by your magical wares. Sometimes I find that helps, and you're just like, oh yeah, like I love being witchy and things like that. And another thing is to maybe look at your life. If you are going through a spiritual slump, sometimes you can also be stuck in a rut in your mundane life as well. So sometimes you need to sort of look within and sort of look and think, well, how can I get myself out of this rut that I'm in my mundane life? And if that's maybe leaving an unhealthy relationship, or changing jobs, or moving somewhere else, or whatever it may be, you may find that once you've shifted that block in your everyday life, that it sort of helps to free up whatever it was in your spiritual life. Your spiritual and your mundane life are separate, but at the same time they're connected because they both flow through you. So sometimes if you're blocked in one area, it's because you're blocked in the other area, so it's sort of backing up. And so if you're blocked in your mundane life, sometimes it can back right up and you're blocked in your spiritual life as well. So it's looking within yourself and finding out where these blocks are and why, and what you can do to change your situation and make things better for yourself. So I hope this video helped, and I would love to know what your thoughts and views are, so you pop them in the comments, and how, if you've been through any sort of spiritual slumps, like how you've managed to come out the other side. So I will see you in my next video. Blessed be.